Hello and welcome back to another video of... No.
It's been a while, bear with.
Hello and welcome back to another AtoZ of AV with Command AV. Today we are looking at the letter
S,
which stands for
speakers.
Hey.
We deal with a lot of AV, a lot of audio, a lot of video. One of the main components of what we do is a speaker. So should we go through the types of speakers that we commonly find in AV in terms
Sure.
of residential AV, not commercial AV, because we do residential AV.
Yeah. InCeiling speakers.
Yep, so these can be discrete in-ceiling or on-show in-ceiling. You can have many depths, you can have sealed backs, you can have painted grills.
Completely invisible, plastered over speakers.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about invisible speakers.
Yeah, invisible speakers are awesome.
That's right, we don't have to talk about it.
The technology in them is becoming like a lot. It's getting a lot better now. They sound pretty damn good. The only downside to an invisible speaker is the fact that it's plastered in to the ceilings. If anything did go wrong with the speaker, you could be landed with a fairly hefty bill. But if you install them and test them before anything goes up, then it's fine. Maybe.
Enough about invisible speakers. Let's get on to the speakers that we actually like to install.
So
the ones that sound good.
So other than in-ceiling, you've got in-wall, which are the same kind of thing, but you put them in.
They sit like this, not like this.
We use in-ceiling speakers mainly for music. However, in a home theatre situation, we would use them for your Atmos speakers or your surround speakers. If the room doesn't allow for surround, you can have overhead surround speakers, which works pretty well. Whereas in-wall speakers, we would use for your surround system, unless you use the invisible speakers in-wall, in which case you could use them for music as well. But you wouldn't want to hang a picture up on the wall in that scenario.
Enough about invisible speakers. The other option is OnWall speakers, which are essentially like a bookshelf or proper cabinet speaker, generally shallower than normal speakers, with some sort of mounting mechanism to go onto a wall. These, from experience, are probably some of the better sounding speakers. If you think like acoustic, they've got some very nice on-wall speakers. Triad, on-wall subwoofers, they sound very good. Mm-hmm. Monitor audio, they've got some nice ones. Kef, definitely. I mean, the list goes on. Those are just the ones that we've worked with and installed, and they all sound awesome.
I think the main reason why an on-wall or a bookshelf type speaker sounds better is because the manufacturer controls where the sound goes with these. But with an in-wall or an in-ceiling speaker, they tend to be an open back. So all the sound goes through whatever is in the ceiling, and then they can't control what the builder puts in the ceiling.
So you get a bit of a loose sound sometimes, especially when it comes to bass. You don't get the same bass responses from general in-ceiling or in-wall speakers as you would do from a cabinet speaker.
Plus, with in-ceiling or in-wall speakers, the integrator is kind of limited in some respects as to where they can go, because they need to look good with all of the other services that are in ceiling. Mm-hmm. The joists might not line up properly, the lighting might determine where the speakers need to go, which aesthetically looks good, but if you put your seating position somewhere where the speakers aren't quite lined up properly, you're going to have to go mono. And you won't get a stereo image. So whereas with on-wall speakers, you can position them exactly where they need to be in relation to where your seating position is, so you can get a decent stereo image.
One of the other restrictions, as you mentioned, with in-wall or in-ceiling speakers is not only location but also size. So luckily they do come in quite a variety of sizes, some of the smallest ones being the same size as a regular downlight. Obviously don't get the same boom boom from that, but if you want to get audio into a small space and there's not a lot of room physically in the ceiling, then you can do that. And then they go up to, what is it, about 12, 14 inches.
What?
Biggest ones I've seen the cutouts 340mm. I think that is just over 12 inches. It's a big speaker.
Oh wow.
In all fairness, it did have 6 drivers built in it. It's a powerful speaker. So big speakers.
Another type of speaker that we would install, I say install, I mean a freestanding speaker. There's not really much installation required other than the cabling, but freestanding speakers gives you the best sound. The best part of the freestanding speaker is the fact that you can have full range and have a stereo pair that is perfect for critical listening, and you can't beat that with an InCeiling or an InWall speaker.
Speakers. Moving outside of the house, there are garden speakers which come in, well actually not just garden speakers, let's say outdoor speakers, weatherproof speakers, and they come in a variety of shapes, sizes and fixing capabilities. So you can have on-wall or on-pole speakers, so they have some sort of a bracket that can fix one way or another to a solid surface. You can have spike speakers that go in the ground. They literally have a spike that sits in the ground and projects sound in one direction or another. Or you can have rock speakers, which are not strictly for listening to rock. They look like rocks, and you place them in the garden and they have a speaker inside that just, makes sound in the garden, which is cool. And subwoofers outside as well. They can either go on the ground or in the ground, and they look like mushrooms mostly.
So when we were talking about the tiny little InCeiling speakers that you could fit like a downlight size hole, and we were saying that there's not much low end or no low end with those, you can pair them with a subwoofer. And in order to create the same effect, you can have InCeiling subwoofers that majority of it sits in the ceiling, and then they're all channeled through a tiny little downlight size hole.
And it's the same size as the small speakers, so everything looks uniform, but you get a fuller range of sound. Speakers.
So that just about wraps it up for speakers. Thanks for tuning in. In the next episode, we are on the letter
T,
which stands for
Tango? I don't have a clue. Televisions.
and televisions. I don't know.
Okay, have a good time.
Very nice. See you later.